Hello friends, it's Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to my channel, and I'm so glad you're here. I am doing a little episode of behind the scenes crafting today to show you what I've been doing. Maybe while watching TV. These are crafts you can do while watching TV or on the road for the day, at a game, at the doctor's office, on vacation, just kind of portable type crafts. So what I've been doing, I actually was, let me just see where I want to start here. So I guess part of this was reorganizing my scraps, and part of this was my scrap box, and part of this was cleaning up my craft room. So I had this little strip of scrap fabric that was from a bandana, and it was red, as you can see. And I don't know, I just decided to cut little hearts out of it. It's good. I mean, is coming up, Valentine's Day in February. So I don't forget why I had this. I was trying to use this on something, and it didn't work. So I was going to put this scrap away, and it was sitting here, and I just decided to cut some hearts out of it. So aren't they cute? If you have some red fabric, and I just do these by hand. I just took the strip. Say I had a strip, I folded a little piece in half, and you start, a little bit down and then go up and around and down to a point. So I think they're pretty easy to make. I would just, don't use too thick of a fabric, a cotton, or this is, like I said, a bandana. And I mean, you can use just some sharp scissors, and there you have you can glue these down somewhere on a piece of paper. That's what I'm thinking. Make little clusters of hearts. Say you want to do a couple like that. Super cute. Or you could use them on a tag. I'm not. Well, let's put it on this tag. Say this was my tag here, and I need a little accent. A little heart somewhere. Whatever. Use it even like a little tuck spot, maybe. So anyway, those turned out super cute. I was glad I tried that. And then I also, for some reason, just kind of popped into my head. I had wanted to use some red playing cards during Christmas and try using the red playing card, the red and blue ones. I wanted to use the red ones and try to use it as a background and decorate it Christmassy, but I never got around to it. But I still, for some reason, had those red cards in my head. So let me show you what I did. Some red cards. I didn't even have them out or anything. I think after I made those fabric hearts, then I thought of my red cards again. And so I got my punch out right then and there, right after I made those fabric hearts and red playing cards, and made I said, I wonder, I don't think I've ever, because, playing cards are pretty thick, and I was like, I don't even know if my punch will go through them. Well, they did, and took a whole deck, a single deck of red cards, and punched out all of these little red hearts. And I did one, and I was like, oh my goodness, I love these. So I did a whole pack. Okay, so picture the size of a playing card. So I got 2 out of each card. I took the card, and I actually used them all up. I don't even have any right here. But just say this is a playing card. Just say, I got a little piece of paper here. Just say this is a playing card, right? So I kind of try to maximize my playing card without wasting the space on it. So I took it and punched 1, 2 here. Okay, and then I had this, so I would have this other half left. It was a little less than half that I had left, but I didn't want to waste this part, so I'll show you what I did with that. So I punched out all these little hearts. I have a whole bunch here. Let me show you how many I got out of one deck of playing cards. I'm going to bring them over here just a second. Okay, let me bring them over here. I got all of these. I haven't put them away yet. I wanted to show you. I just finished it. So all of these, aren't they pretty? I love them. So, and you can make little charms. You can put a little hole in here, make a little hanging charm. I just think they're pretty adorable. They're nice and strong and cardstock. So I'm sure you can think of lots of ideas to do with something like that. if you have playing cards and those plain ones, it's kind of like, what do you do with those? They're just plain, you know. I mean, I never really bought any on purpose. I just bought it, maybe a little bag of, at the, you know, thrift store, and they had several different ones that I wanted, and then they would have one of these plain ones in there. So I was like, I never really picked any up on purpose, but now I'm glad I did, because it did have some, because, you know, I thought of this. So then out of that strip that was that top, like less than half of the playing card left, I punched out. I have a small, medium, and large. It's not really large, but small, medium, and large butterfly punch, and I took that and I used the medium size because I just wanted to. The small is really tiny. I like the small one, but I just wanted to use up that space, and so I punched out little butterflies. And this is all my butterflies here that I got out of that little scrap at the top, and I used them all up, all the scraps, to punch these little butterflies here. So a bunch of little, and the same thing, you could hang these from put a little hole in there, like with I would do it with my awl or something small. If you wanted to punch a hole, you could hang it from the little wing or something, or just glue these down somewhere, you know, as a little decoration on something, a little page, pocket, tag, whatever, journal card, whatever you're making. So a lot of those. And I was thinking about making tabs out of that top little part, and I made one tab, but then I thought of the butter, this is a little tab. So I was going to do tabs. And then, so you can do tabs or whatever you want out of them, of course. But I thought, I think I'd like to put some butterflies. So those are 3 things I did. The fabric hearts out of the bandana, the playing card hearts, the playing card butterflies. And then as I was reorganizing my scraps, I came across a little book I had thrown in there. So I took the book, and these pages were in there. All of this is from the little book it was kind of like glued together pages. If you could picture that, you know how the books have the glue on the side, and they're glued into the spine. Anyway, these were in there, and so I peeled them all off, and I separated them, each one separately, because some of them actually came out together, and I was thinking, well, I can use these as little pages. But then as I looked at them, I realized and then remembered that I wanted to make some little booklets, so I ended up separating them all. So I had the ones that came out together, which was quite a few, I cut them down, a little sliver off the side to cut off the fold, and I separated them. I rounded all the corners, like here's one page. And these have a little gold edge too. You probably can see it in the camera, of course, but they have a little gold edge, so they're really pretty. But then I rounded all the corners and folded them in half, and then I put them together in sets of 3. Okay, so I'm going to make little booklets out of these. I was already thinking about this, and I was thinking I want to make some little booklets, but in the past I know my sewing machine will go through like 8 papers like this and a cover, so then I sew down the middle and there's no problem. If I get too much thicker than that, it starts, you know, not liking it. But I mean, it might go through, but it doesn't, you know, I don't want to break my sewing machine or wear out the motor or anything. So I decided and I want them to be thin. You know, sometimes I've made them so thick and I'm like, wow, this is, you know, a little bulky in the journal. So yeah, I just thought, let me just put a few pages in there. I mean, with 3 papers folded in half, you have 6, like both sides. And then if you double that for the surfaces, you actually have 12 surfaces. So that's, you know, quite a nice little booklet. So I did all of that, and there they are, ready for me to make little booklets. So again, that was something I took. I threw it in my scrap box because I thought I would use it quicker, and I didn't want to put it in a drawer, and I didn't use it. But now I did, as I was reorganizing my scraps, and I had that in the back of my mind for a while that I wanted to make some little booklets. So those pages are ready and grouped in sets of 3. And then I went to my scrap box again, because now it's reorganized, and I'm going to show you that in a separate video, my organization video. And by the time you see this video, you probably will have already seen my scrap reorganization video, but so you can remember if you watch that, or go back and watch it if you didn't watch it. But Then I went back to my scraps again and pulled out some papers that I was thinking would fit around, or hope, going to try and see if they would fit around as a cover. So this is one this is thicker, so how some wrapping paper is thick and some is thinner. But this is a thick one, and I had this scrap in my, scrap box, and I pulled it out, and I was like, that would make a cute little colorful booklet. The balloons are going this way, but I didn't care about that. I really like it just like this. It's so adorable with all these colorful balloons. The cover's not too, where it would just rip, because it's like really thick. This is super thick, I would say. For me, the wrapping paper I've ever dealt with, it's one of the thicker papers I've ever dealt with. So I don't even know where I got it, but at a thrift store, I'm sure. But yeah, so that one, and I put the little pages in there. I just sewed down the middle, and I do like to, and I have done this before, where I left the strings, sometimes. I just, on these little booklets, for some reason, I like to leave the strings usually. Sometimes I don't, but usually I do, so I think that's super cute. And then I pulled out this. I pulled out another one I already put back. It didn't fit. I can see now that this is not going to fit. So I'm going to put that back in the place where I got it, and I pulled out these two, all these, 3 more. So I'm just going to show you, just make some of these with you right now. So let's see, this is a pretty scrap. This is a this I printed. I was experimenting with some digitals I found that were, I think they were called wallpaper. It was called a wallpaper bundle. And I found it on Creative Fabrica, if you want to go check that out. I'll try to remember to leave a link below. I am an affiliate with them, so if you click on my link, I think I get some kind of credit with them. But yeah, let's see what we can do with this and use up a few of these scraps that I just put together. And now I'll show you. You will see in my reorganization or organization video that, and I'll say it again in that video, or I already said it, that I really love that I got it reorganized it, because I didn't, I kind of just left it to the last thing. I didn't even really think about it, and then when I thought about it, I did it, and I'm so glad I did, because I think I might, and you'll see. I mean, I always go to my scrap box first, but now that I can see, and now that I've gone through it and know what I have, and I can kind of, when I'm looking for it, find better what I'm looking for. I think I might use, I'm trying not to get cut off this end of my, or the side of my papers there, but I think I might use it more, you know what I mean? So let's see if we can make a few of these. I'm going to show you how I made these. Yeah, I should get out my other my other paper cutter. This is not the sharpest paper cutter that I have. Yeah, let me get out my other one. It's not going through that. Hold on. Oops. Did you hear that crash? I dropped my paper cutter a little bit. Not totally, but just a little bit. Let's see. So let me put it back together here. It goes like this. There we go. Now we can cut away. Make sure I didn't move anything around. So yeah, I just kind of, wrap around. And you can decorate these further if you want to get fancy with it. So these are scraps I can keep. And I'm just, let me put this on top, then I can see what I'm doing better. And just, I'm going to leave a little bit of extra there. And you don't have to round the corners. I just thought they looked nice with the corners rounded. That's a nice scrap there. I'll keep that. And so, yeah, these are super cute. And then, see, I have a few of these, but not that many in my stash. So if I make little booklets out of all of these, that's what this one will look like. And that kind of looks upside down. Let me turn it around and see if it looks better like this. Oh yeah, I like it like that better. So I will go in, and you could sew these with like a little pamphlet stitch or something if you wanted to by hand. I'm just going to run my sewing machine through there. But that's another one. Isn't it pretty? And it's just paper. This I printed out on copy paper, so you know you don't have to use cardstock every time. Like I used wrapping paper, a scrap of wrapping paper, a scrap of regular paper, you know, copy paper. These are, this is another piece that I was playing around with. This is, I think this is one I printed too. I embossed it, and I was just kind of playing with my new embossing folder. And again, I don't know if this will be big enough. I hope it is, but it might not be. Let's see if it'll wrap around here. Let me see. So I'm just doing this to try it out. Oh, I don't think it's quite big enough. Look at that, just short. And I'm not going to cut my, well, I could cut my pages down, couldn't I? I could, because it's so close. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that real quick. So I really like this paper. And let's see how it turns out. And I can use up another paper. Let me try to fold this even here. But this is kind of, since I embossed it, it kind of weakened the paper. So I might not use it. I don't know, let me see. It's kind of like trying to crack here or something. You know, where I embossed it, it kind of, I guess it weakens the paper a little bit. But I think I might still use it. Let's try it. So I need to, let's see. Well, it kind of barely fits in there, huh? Okay, so I need to cut it off at the bottom. Right here. Get my size, my cover. Okay, another pretty scrap, but that's okay. And then my quarter rounder. Let's see if I can get it up in there with the embossing. Yes, it did. It did round the corner on that. And this one, let's try that. Yes, it did. Okay. So now that one's ready for me to sew. So yeah, I can sit and make covers for you know, however many I want. I don't have to do them all at one time, but look how pretty these are. Look at that. And like I said, you can decorate these or just leave them plain. And I'm not worried about the little bitty tear or whatever right there from the embossing. I'm not worried about that at all. You know, it's just a little thing that I threw together, and this little pretty little notebook, and it still can be used. I'll see what happens when I sew it, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. This is already folded, so I'm going to go with the fold. I think I kind of have to, don't I? Let me see. I hate to waste my paper. I always try to make the most out of my paper, right? So let me see if I can refold this, because I know I can get more covers out of this one strip if I refold it. So let's go with it. Like I said, it's just a little notebook made out of scrap, so I don't think you have to, you know, try to be super perfect with it. See, there's the fold, but like I said, I'm not worried about it. Let's cut this piece off. Move it out just a sliver there so I can cut. There we go. And so that's going to be one, and let's see if this can be another one. See, that's what I was going for, because I could see if I cut it the other way on the fold, then I cut off some strips, make some scraps, and this way, and then I'll have I have a scrap that I wouldn't be big enough for a book. So this is just barely too big. I wonder if I should leave it. I think it looks cuter, the size of the pages. I mean, you could leave that if you wanted to and put it in there, but I really like it, the smaller size of the pages, so I'm going to go ahead and cut off this little strip. And I have shown you, if the strip is big enough, we'll see how big it is. Let's see how big it is. I think it might be, yeah, I think it actually, it's so cute. I'm going to keep it because I have shown you in my reorganization videos, craft organization, what I'm doing with my strips lately. So, there's so many things you can do with the strips, but I showed you what I have been doing lately, and I really like what I've been doing, so that's what I'm doing with my strips. And look how cute that is with the rounded corners. That's my paper sticking out a little bit right there. Let's see if I can just cut that off. Like I said, if you didn't want to I'm not trying to get these perfect, but I don't want my pages sticking out, so I'm going to cut that off. And it's fine, just like that. So there you go. And another one I can sew, and then this one I need to round the corners. I'm going to take my pages out, round the corners. Yep, that looks good. There's that fold. See, I don't care. I am going to put that on the back though, so you don't, like, when you see the front, you don't see that fold right away. When you turn it over, you kind of see the fold, and I can kind of unfold it. Let me see if I can kind of just kind of smooth it out there a little bit, you know. I do that at work all the time, trying to get things to go through the copier that have been folded and crinkled and stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is not going to go through like this. I need to smooth this out. So it's kind of the same thing, just kind of smoothing out a little fold there. And I think that looks a little better. And not that I cared in the first place, but there I go. So, and then this pretty paper, I can make a couple with this. So let's go ahead, get a couple more done, and then after this video I will sew them up. So I need to also, again, kind of measure. And, you know, there's so many things you can do with your scrap, especially scrap this size. But this is what I wanted to do today, because I had some other ideas to use these bigger scraps. I was going to make some flip up, flip downs with these. And so I kind of like hesitated when I pulled these out, but I was like, well, today I want to make little booklet covers, right? So I am not going to not do it, you know. I want to just do it. I want to use up my scraps. This is what I want to do. I will look through my other scraps and see if I have any left after I do these to make some flip up, flip downs, but I will have more scraps in the future. And I actually, you know, one time I used up all my scraps, and I actually missed my scraps. I was like, wow, I need a scrap, but I don't have any. I used them all up. I was on a mission a few years ago to use up all my scraps, and I did. I did videos on it and everything, and used up every single scrap. But then I wanted more scraps, so of course I had got more scraps pretty quickly, so no problem there. But I'm just saying, that's my kind of attitude I had when I reorganized my scraps this year, at this time in my life, and in my crafting life. I remembered back when I didn't have any scraps that time, I used up every one of my scraps, and I was like, remembered, I actually, you know, need scraps. So I'm sure we all, you know, don't even realize how much, if you use your scraps a lot, maybe you don't realize how much you use them and how much you need them. So let's see if we can get one more out of this pretty. This has glittery. I'm sure maybe you can see that. Hopefully you can, the glittery part of this. So let's see if we can get one more, and I'll show you all the little cute booklets that I'm going to sew up and have ready for my journals. So, and this is a super quick, as you can see. You can just sit in front of the TV, get these ready. And if you're sewing them by hand, then you can do that in front of the TV or wherever you are on vacation. Just take your little needle and thread and sew them up, so you don't even have to have a sewing machine. Or if you want to just get them ready, like I'm doing right now during the video, and then when you get home or get back into your craft room or in front of your sewing machine, wherever it is, then you can sew through them like just boom, 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 right, one after the other, and be done pretty quickly. So I think, let me show you real quick before I have to go what we did here. I showed you everything else I already did. I have a few scraps to add to my little scrap pile now. And here's all the little booklets we made. This one's the one I showed you that's already done. And then we made all of these today. And aren't they adorable? So, and if you don't have any scrapbook paper, let's see. So these are, well, this is printed. Like I told you, these are scrapbook papers. Let me look over here and see. Okay, so this is one thing that I took, one little scrap envelope that I have, that I put my biggest scraps in. This blue right here is a cover from sheet music. Okay, look at it. It's like cardstock. It's solid blue. This is the back of it, and this is the front of it here where I have some words. But I wouldn't even hesitate to even try using this with the words. That could be really cool looking. I would try it and see if I like it. But you know, so you don't have to use scrapbook paper if you don't have any. Just look around. Use a pretty paper bag, or you know, just look around your house for any kind of pretty packaging or papers, paper bags, cards, whatever. And all you need is a little section like this big, and you can make them smaller even if you wanted, but then you can make sell some of these little booklets. And I just had that paper, blank paper from a little booklet. So any kind of little, you know, note paper that you have, you could use for the pages and make yourself some of these fun little booklets to use yourself, give to your friends. I mean, wouldn't that be cute in a little stocking to give to your friends, right? And you could put more paper pages in there if you wanted to, but super fun. And then you can decorate the little front with a little piece of ephemera if you want, a little word, whatever, or you could write on there. So just so many ideas. You can use your imagination with these and have a lot of fun and have something to do in the downtime when you're on vacation and you're watching TV on vacation or whatever, or in your living room. So anyway, everyone have a great day. I'll see you in my next video, and happy crafting.